Welcome to UNCAGED, a show that celebrates thought leadership from today's top business leaders. The program provides a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to the commerce of tomorrow. Today, we are joined by Badr Moudden. Hey, Badr, how are you?
Hi, Bent. I'm very well, thank you.
Great. Well, listen, I'm excited to talk to you, Badr. Badr is a partner in the consultancy Tenzing. Tenzing was founded with a vision to build the most powerful network of experts in the world. It really is a new spin on the consultancy model to try to basically put senior experts that roll up their sleeves and get into the lovely workings of procurement, supply chain, operations. And we're talking to one of their newer partners, Badr, today. But before we talk about all the things that are happening at Tenzing, Badr, tell us a little bit about yourself and your career.
Well, let's see. First of all, my background, I'm an engineer. I have a master in engineering, but I didn't want to work in the technical thing. I wanted to sell technical solution, technical products, and basically I had 20 years of career working for corporates in different sales and marketing in the B2B world, different roles. And since 2010, I decided to have my own business, be self-employed as a consultant, with a focus on B2B sales, B2B marketing, and some areas of procurement where I have built an expertise over the years. And recently, I started to work with Tenzing actually on some project, being an expert, one of these older guys which have a few miles on being put into projects rather than
the veteran, yes.
Yeah. And recently, since the beginning of the year, I was tasked to do the business development for Tenzing in Europe, because Tenzing was very strong in North America. Started with some projects in Europe, but they didn't have really a base to develop business in Europe.
I see that this world of B2B operations, B2B services, kind of looking at the procurement, supply chain issues are becoming bigger everywhere around the world. And it sounds like you are tasked with helping shaping the Tenzing offering for Europe and probably globally a bit as well. But tell me a little bit more about what you guys are doing at Tenzing.
Okay, so I mean, if you compare Tenzing to the classical consulting companies, for example, in the US, like the Bains, the McKinseys, the Boston Consulting, we compete with these on the subjects where we are good at, which are supply chain, procurement, sourcing, and operations. The very big difference between us and them is that we only use experts from our network that have at least 15 years of experience, up to 30. Basically, they master all the methodologies of Bain, McKinsey, etc. But we don't bring like youngsters. You have like at McKinsey, you typically have like one principal who knows most of the things, and then they have a methodology that they roll out with a lot of youngsters. The people that work from our side, they've done it and they've seen it already. So when they put on a project, they know where to accelerate and get to the point. They understand, of course, all the methods, but they know where to not to spend too much time. It's not an academic exercise. It's about helping the client very quickly and very sharply. That's the difference.
I like that. Bringing in people that are veterans that have been doing it for a long time and getting to the acute need and the acute solution as quickly as possible. Something that we all need. I think that the consultancy solutions where you kind of talk about macro problems, macro issues, but don't kind of land the plane gets very, very frustrating very quickly. But, you know, being at a company like Tenzing, you see a lot of the big trends that are hitting the market right now. Tell me a little bit about what is important right now for Tenzing clients. What are they concerned about?
Well, one of the things you mentioned is, of course, the uncertainties around supply chain. This is affecting everybody, and in areas which are like the automotive businesses, especially when you are like a tier one supplier for the automotive constructors, you have very demanding contracts, and you see that you cannot fulfill them anymore, and then you start to have either penalties because you're going to stop a line, or you start to to air freight everything all over the place, which explode your cost, and you make no money at the end. So, for example, this is an area that we've encountered, but in general, in the past, it was about reducing costs, process costs, price cost, but at this stage is more like, can I get the stuff I need? That's more the problem than and in time and in quality than can I save some money on some pricing?
Yeah, it's tricky because those short-term needs are so important, so needed, so acute, that trying to put those into the context of perhaps some of the midterm challenges that we have in terms of restructuring and rethinking supply chain. It's interesting. I found over the last couple of years in 2020, when I would talk to people that were working in the supply chain industry, they would say, oh, well, the pandemic has shown us that we need to have a kind of fail-safe supply chain model, a model that can do things locally as well as internationally, and balancing those things out. And now I kind of hear more about what you're saying right now, which is we can't make cars unless they have microchips. How the hell are we going to get microchips? Like, it's more of a desperation situation, it sounds like.
And it forces both sides. It forces not only the suppliers, but also the manufacturers to eventually even rethink their contracts and to be able to share the problem, because you can't just say, like, we have a contract, you need to deliver these parts within this time in this quality, and if you fail, we're going to penalize you, because it just doesn't help. I mean, if you make your supplier broke because he can't afford it to do it, or he's not making any money anymore, and he cannot guarantee that, it's a big risk for both sides. So it's forcing everybody, the supplier and the buyer, to rethink their current contracts and to find solutions. And so it's not the typical things we used to do in the past. Is like optimization, process improvement, cost reduction, trying to find the right suppliers, reduce the number of suppliers, renegotiate prices and stuff like that. Today is like survival.
Yeah, and I think that highlights that need for the veteran talent even more, because you really have to rely on relationships, right? I mean, a lot of times I imagine it's you calling people that you know and trying to get that done. Well, listen, I mean, it's interesting. I saw that you joined Tenzing at the beginning of this year. So I imagine you, like myself, thought, oh, well, 2022, it's the end of the pandemic. I'm joining this new exciting team at a time when I can think about the future. But we found ourselves in a bit of a dogfight this year with all of the issues with kind of global politics, Ukraine, et cetera. How are all these things shaping your business? And, how do you find yourself working in a different way?
So the first thing is I try. It's not like I didn't try to ignore it. I try not to have it affect my daily activities. So maybe one thing we all learned in these 2 years is to be able to do meetings online like we're having today, and even with clients, and even in our job as consultants. We were obliged to use these tools that we're using, and now it's getting like accepted. I mean, I can acquire clients via phone, email, and video conferences, but I can even get a program, let's say, determined, planned, and negotiated via conference calls, which I couldn't imagine 3 years ago. So we're taking it as it comes, and trying to do our best with it. There are still some uncertainties, but I think you need to keep moving. I mean, if you just worry about all that stuff, you just don't do anything anymore.
Badr, do you find that customers are asking you for face-to-face meetings, or is there a larger acceptance for Zoom calls or Google Hangout or Microsoft?
So I always propose. Personally, I prefer the real meeting, but it depends for which phase of the discussion. I mean, we could start like this today, but still, if you want to engage really, it's good to see each other, even have a dinner together or lunch and the personal part. Some clients are very cautious because of all what was happening, and some of them are reopening and giving us again the opportunity to meet face to face and more, which is nice. But I think what is establishing is the possibility to have a hybrid way of communication, and that's fine. I mean, they accept that some part of the process can be done online, which is at the end okay. But I like the personal interaction. I'd like to have a beer with you and have a chat.
Absolutely. Maybe go to Oktoberfest in Germany.
We meet in Greece like we talked before.
Sounds good. Greece sounds good as well. Badr, you've joined in 2022. You're a partner of the company. You're helping really reshape and grow the business for a European audience. And when you're looking out to the back half of 2022 and really beyond, what's on your agenda? What are the top priorities?
So, like I said, I'm responsible for new business developments. The first task was to understand what is our offering, how does it differentiate compared to our competition in Europe, which is a different competition than in the US. So in Germany, it's different. In France, it's different. In Europe, it's different. And then to find a way, how are we going to talk to these people? And I'm a friend of mixing new technologies with the classical, new business development. Like I started with the defining what is a typical avatar for ideal client for us, a typical avatar of functions that we want to talk to, because we have the medicine to their diseases or their and then we started with some nice dialogue marketing campaign via LinkedIn, which are bringing their fruits now. Like first you contact, then you do some nurturing, you provide some goodies, some good information, and then eventually there is a point where you start to want to organize a call, and from the call you explore whether there is let's say an area where they have a problem that is not solved, that has some implication if it doesn't get solved, and then you start to see, can you help them? I'm very optimistic. I'm seeing results after these first 6 months. It's starting from scratch in a geographic area is difficult, but when you know what the process is and you know what is the expectation with regards to timing and to activities, you know how long it takes. So and the good thing, the Tenzing people are also, they understand that, and so we're working well together, and now we're starting to have the right appointments and the interesting things start to crystallize. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I mean, Badr, we've been talking about you establishing the team in Europe and pushing it on to the next level. Tell me, where's the best place for someone to get in touch with you if they want to learn more about what you're working on?
Well, I'm based in Düsseldorf. I happen to live in Düsseldorf in Germany. It's a nice city in the most crowded state of Germany, which is called North Rhine-Westphalia. But I travel. I like to basically I have a radius which is Europe, and I'm happy to master a few languages, so it makes it easy for me to speak to French, Dutch, and others. And yeah, I mean, they're happy to visit our website and contact me in Germany. I'm happy to talk to anyone having some challenges in the fields I mentioned. So
yeah, and I also can probably reach you on LinkedIn. I see,
absolutely.
Badr, you have a pretty big profile there as well. So Badr, thank you so much for being on the UNCAGED show today. And we look forward to having you back in the future. We've been speaking with Badr Moudden. He's a partner of Tenzing. Tenzing is really, I'd say, a consultancy that is looking to build kind of a fresh alternative to that traditional consulting approach. They combine that veteran experience level with really solving acute needs quickly and in an effective manner. And I think for the world that we're living in right now, that's exactly what a lot of folks need. So Badr, thank you so much for being on the show today. We look forward to having you back.
I thank you very much for having me.
Cheers.